They have resolved their differences. Breaking news in the last 3 minutes. The judge in the trial, which was 2 hours and a day late getting underway, said just moments ago, came back into court and said the parties have resolved their case. In other words, they have settled. Now, there was always speculation that this might happen, but it was expected it would happen before now, not in the last few moments before this trial was set to get underway. We don't know at the moment what the details of this resolution are, but it was always the case, so said media commentators who have been watching this extraordinary and very, very important trial that was due to get underway. They always believed that it was never in Fox News's interests and in its parent company's interests, in Rupert Murdoch's interests, to see this one go to trial, to allow the bonnet to be lifted on the inner workings of Fox News. It was always to be, from Fox's point of view, a much better outcome if they could somehow come to a resolution with Dominion Voting Systems. That is the company that operates these voting machines that are used up and down the country and were used during 2020, the 2020 election, to come to a resolution with that company. Now, clearly, it involves money. It will, I imagine, involve money that is paid from Fox to Dominion that they are happy with, so that this never actually comes to trial. But I tell you, Anna, there has been huge anticipation over the course of today. Of course, the trial was supposed to get underway yesterday. On Sunday night, dramatically, the judge said that it would be delayed by a day. That prompted speculation that the lawyers on both sides were talking, that Fox was trying to come to some sort of a resolution, but there was nothing confirmed. Today, they swore in the jury, 6 men, 6 women from Delaware, asked to be in court for the next 5 weeks or so, from 9:30 to 4:30, to listen to this extraordinary case play out. This afternoon at 1:30, the trial was supposed to begin, but then we sat there in court for 2.5 hours in silence. No one knew what was going on. And then, as I say, a few moments ago, that word from the judge where he said simply that it had been resolved. His words precisely were, I've lost it now, but the two parties have resolved their differences, resolved their case.
And indeed, we're hearing the judge has not provided details, as you said. And the word had been that it was Fox News that had been pushing to settle, that Dominion were pushing back hard, believing, obviously, that their reputational damage to them was extremely costly, Mark. So pushing hard, not just on price, but also what sort of apology they might expect. So all these details still to emerge.
Yes, we just don't know any of the details at the moment. Is this simply a deal that has been done that is going to involve money going from one side to the other? Will there be some sort of a public apology from Fox? Will they admit wrongdoing? They have always claimed, of course, that they did nothing wrong, that they were simply reporting a news story as it was back in 2020, this extraordinary conspiracy theory without evidence that somehow these Dominion voting machines up and down the country had software inside them which allowed them to take votes that had gone to Trump and apply them to Biden, thus giving Joe Biden the election. That was the central allegation that you'll remember, we all remember, was peddled at the time by the likes of Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, such a Trump loyalist, became Donald Trump's lawyer, and was out there day after day after day in those days after the 2020 election in November 2020, initially alleging just fraud, that something odd had happened because they couldn't understand how at the beginning of the evening Trump was doing well, then suddenly Biden was doing well. The logical reason for that, as we now know, is that to do with postal votes, people who vote for Joe Biden tend to vote by post, and those votes are counted later. So that was the real reason. But at the time, it was alleged by Trump's people that there was a mass fraud taking place. And then they involved Dominion Voting Systems, saying that they were somehow involved in this mass steal of votes. And the central allegation to this case is that Fox took that allegation and ran with it as fact. And why did they do that? Well, it's alleged they did it because they were very worried they were losing viewers. It was all about keeping their viewership. And to keep their viewership, it's alleged that they needed to peddle information which turned out to be false. And over the course, Anna, of what's known as the discovery period prior to the trial taking place, we've seen numerous exchanges between high-profile anchors on Fox News, celebrities here in America, people like Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, and others. Text messages and exchanges which suggest that behind the scenes they didn't believe the Dominion conspiracy. They said that it was nonsense, and yet on air they appeared to be peddling it as if it was some sort of a fact. Now, Fox News has always claimed in this discovery process that Dominion is taking Fox quotes out of context and it doesn't show the whole picture. Of course, we'll never now get to hear that official argument in the courtroom because it will not go to trial.
That will actually disappoint some people, certainly. So the breaking news there brought to us from Mark Stone in Wilmington, Delaware.